welcome to the Magic of Boot 53rd episode. This is Ronnie. I have Shudipta as we always. Shudipta, a lot has been happening. We're supposed to cover English Premier League as well as Serie A and a little bit of Cup, up to you. What do you want to start with?
I just have a goosebump. Dibu, he shared a video in social media. Argentine goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez.
Martinez? Okay.
So like I just had a really big goosebump actually. He shared a video of probably this goalkeeper from '86, I guess.
Pompidou, probably. I haven't seen that yet,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
let's focus on. We'll talk about World Cup in a different episode probably. But
Yeah.
let's focus on the English Premier League and how it is going for the top teams.
Well, we should talk about league leaders.
Yeah, obviously.
And
I mean,
finally, Arteta was saying, "Yeah, we are in the title race for now." I guess
yeah.
he wanted to put some pressure on his team. I guess so that like they can feel that like okay, we are in now. They should have some sort of belief. Otherwise, it will be it won't be possible. Only 13 matches they played. There are like 26 more. It's like one third exactly.
Hmm.
So um, let's start from there. London Derby happened last week. I was so excited about it. Actually, I thought like Graham Potter and his team will be well. They resisted in defensive way, but they weren't even in the game. Uh, what do you think?
Uh, Chelsea worries me. Chelsea definitely worries me a lot. I see a lot of good footballers there. I mean, they're a bunch of great footballers, but I don't see Chelsea used to have players like um, that takes the game in a next level. Like well, I'm not going to talk about Didier Drogba, but there used to be a player like that. I don't see the current Chelsea squad has any of it.
No, there were some gritty win. There weren't like in even Drogba, Torres, or anyone there, but like they have like four defender, and all of them were in the box, and they started like scoring from. I remember one match. I guess it was against Everton or someone. Like they were actually trailing by 2 goals, and they scored actually 2 or 3 goals from the set pieces, and all of them actually scored by the defenders. Like
Yeah,
they have like Terry Ivanovic and so many great
yeah.
Cole. So
I think what I'm trying to say that if you compare the teams such as the leader Arsenal or even Manchester City, or even to the point even Liverpool or Tottenham, there are players who will give you a kind of a surety that they might win the games. I don't see that in Chelsea. You may talk about Mason Mount, you may talk about Raheem Sterling, you may talk about Aubameyang at this point, but it's not working. And Graham Potter, I have some respect for the guy, but I think he's totally outplayed. Tried his best. Arsenal is definitely on the rise. Um,
they weren't even in the game any time. Probably like two moments. Like at least one of them were like they were supposed to score or try to create some XG, but they weren't even in the game. Actually, I thought about it. Like there were like some players like Rio Ferdinand and some other probably Manchester United ex player Gary Neville probably like they were. I so I remember then, Ferdinand was talking about like missing 5 6 players and trying like this, and he's tried to a little bit devaluate Arsenal's achievement in some way. But like I don't see them actually. Those players are going to be in the Graham Potter's even in even they are in fit position. Um, well, at least Kepa will be there, but I don't speak for the
Yeah, yeah.
other players. Even like some players actually got to go, and there were like N'Golo Kante was so brilliant that he made Jorginho looked
Ballon
extraordinary.
d'Or winner. Yeah,
Yeah,
almost.
sort of like a Ballon d'Or winner. So um, I don't think um, Kante will get this form. He's probably 31, 32 right now and went
So
through the big injury. So
it is definitely a big win, no matter what,
yeah.
for Arsenal. It's absolutely, you have to win against your direct rival, and I'm
Yeah.
still saying Chelsea's kind of direct rival. In that sense, you have like 4 or 5 contenders at this point, like serious contenders.
Mm,
But I
yeah.
I started to believe that Chelsea is not really a serious contender at this point.
I don't think see them actually going through top four
Yeah.
at the end of the season. Even
Uh,
they will
well,
probably
things can change.
trailed by United. Yeah, things get changed, but so far the track they are on now, they spent 275 million
Yes.
uh, euro, probably one of their highest spending in their last 20 years, probably. Um, I don't see them actually going out and spend that much money again, or
You never know.
at least in this winter at least.
Well, there's new
But
ownership, right?
yeah, but like to whom you are going to spend? You want to buy a striker, but who will come in January?
Big Romelo.
I don't see any. I don't see actually Romelo coming back. I don't see. Well, I don't see actually like top five leagues any like top club who are in the European race, any sort of European race. They are not going to sell their striker, so you have to think about outside of that box actually.
So if you're Graham Potter, first of all, how secure
Yeah,
your job is because you have not been there for long. And
I don't
second,
think. I don't
second
think.
question I want to add is, would you rather focus your everything on Champions League, not in the league anymore? Like not league winning title, but try to be in the top four.
Chelsea can go for both. They could have actually have a good cup run, but they were probably defeated in the. Uh,
Every London club except probably I can't remember who's yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tottenham they made it draw, I guess.
No,
Or
every London club was beaten except probably some second or third division team.
okay. The thing is that like I don't see Graham Potter's job is insecure, in a sense that like now everyone is pointing out to Arsenal, how Arteta went through those sort of moments. There were like talks. This same guy Rio Ferdinand was talking about Arsenal losing their character. They don't have any character and anything, and they lost some games, I guess, like in a row. And at the time, there were like COVID and injury problem, but they did not actually make those excuses for Arsenal. And now they are making it for Chelsea. So I don't see them actually they actually Arteta actually the only Arsenal board and half of Arsenal fans were like backed uh, Mikel Arteta. And what is important for a new coach is like getting into those cup runs, and it's actually more important than getting into the leagues. And if you see Newcastle, I bet like they will go for league run, but if they win one of those cups, there are like two cups in England, and like League Cup and FA Cup. If they make it through like final or like one of those cup run, it will give players more belief. So like what I am saying, like what you asked like if they should focus more on Champions League and winning it or some stuff like that.
Hmm.
I don't see this. You, you, well, I can understand that the Chelsea still have a good defensive lineup. I guess like if they're fit, everyone is fit, they can actually have a good defensive unit. Fofana is still not even in the squad. I guess like he played 1 or 2 games and then he got injured. If they have like all healthy defenders and all healthy defensive midfielders, they can actually have a good cup run or like defensively. But I don't see them scoring goal. You need to score goals, like you cannot actually go for like in the knockout like rounds and win all 4 games, as like not four, like 8 or 7 games like in the tiebreakers. It's not possible. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But
they
yeah,
really need a
that's
striker.
my little
But
bit of concern about
but
Chelsea. But everything is looking rosy.
but next summer, I hope like as much intelligent coach as he is Graham Potter, like he will um change like there are some people got to go actually, so
Definitely,
many people actually.
definitely.
And what we have seen in Brighton, like he has a big, how can I say, like he's a big character, like in a way, like he brought those best out of some players. Like for example, there were players like I guess like this goalkeeper. He's now playing for uh, Spain. I saw him made it to the World Cup squad. Um, so like McAllister, some other players, they're not even in the talks, and they could actually like make those, like when you think about Brighton, and they're like really
But
passing
how
and really
much Brighton
really
is
aggressive.
about Graham Potter? Because it looks good with Roberto Di Gervi as well, right?
Because this team was built like this, and BJB's actually advantage was that like he has already a team in
No, no,
form.
no. Fair enough.
They had some, yeah, they had some like ups and downs after Potter left,
Yeah.
but they actually find a little bit different system, and those players actually can play like two different ways. They can actually dig deep sometimes, but they're not in that is not their characteristics. They will went for it. They will always go for it, and he's playing a different system, but like the idea or ideology is the same. Like different formation probably sometimes, but ideology is the same. I don't see that is changing, and that won't be changed in recent future. um, and there will be new players, I guess, and they're coming from the B team. They don't have any what does it call, they don't have any academy team, so their players are coming through B teams right now, so like they are coming through direct procedure. That is another issue. Like there are probably Kifo cover that actually like in the one of their sections. So, but what I'm trying to say, the ideology philosophy is not changing, and they are going to be in the European competition at least in the next 2-3 years.
Okay. Fair enough. So let's move on from Graham Potter and Chelsea to the things that Arsenal is doing really well. Is consistency
Yeah.
and taking up some moments. I mean, before even when Arteta was under some kind of pressure, they were playing very good football in most of the time, but at certain times, I mean, in a game, entire game, there were certain periods they were not really disciplined. Now it seems like they're started to master it and looking more like a team that is built to win.
If you remember that match, it was probably first game of 2022 against Man City. Um, it was a gritty win from Man City. Like
Yep.
probably Rodri scored at the end of the game, like in the extra time probably. But before that, like Arsenal was the dominant force at the time. and most of the time they were actually, but that is actually depended on like the, how can I say, like the experience of the players they had. Those players are still there. There are some new players. There were some old, like sort of like culprit. They sorted out. Now the team have the team has like sort of like a idea. Whoever playing in this position, they know like the system. If you remember this episode from the Prime documentary, he was asking the players about like two, uh, there were like two teams in the board, from, it was probably Chelsea or some other teams, uh, and he put the picture there, and asked like who is going to play, like in which position, just write it down, for the board team.
Hmm.
And it was sort of like one of those things, like the notion that like which opponents can be which part of the field. You have to know that, like this is one of the most cleverest thing I have ever seen, you know like, how can I say, like this is the cleverest thing I have ever seen. Like, you, he actually put like the main team, and the alternative team all in the with names, like which player can play which position, and asked his own player that like about this opponent, like about, like write down those names. And players are like finding it like really hard to memorize those things. And when you memorize those things, like who is going to play, and when your coach saying something like, okay, mark this player from that position to that position, he already has the notion,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
where the other player is going to play.
It's a team game
And
plan. I think very
yeah,
recently Ancelotti was talking same thing. Uh, he did the same thing for Real Madrid in the first stint in the Champions League they've won. But yeah, coming back to that, um, Arteta.
so players are some in some way involved in this game, and they, when you believe something like, from top to bottom from a club,
Hmm. Hmm.
then it's not a big deal that this team is performing. And were some other talks like, okay, when the World Cup will come, this will stop the momentum and stuff like that. Yeah, probably the bumps on the road there will be.
Hmm. Hmm.
There will be some players could be injured, but I'm not seeing Gabriel Martinelli playing whole 90 minutes for Brazil team.
Uh,
Probably
yeah,
Granit Xhaka,
yeah,
but
yeah.
they will have a good run. If they do, they will go at most like quarter final, I guess.
You never know. Swiss team looks
Yeah,
really delicious. Uh,
but Semi, he will be back. I'm not saying like they're not going to win the World Cup, but yeah, um, but what I'm trying to say, that like there were moments like, okay, this team is not going to perform after 4 5 match.
mhm,
Yeah, whatever they play when they play Tottenham, whatever when they play Chelsea, whatever
mhm.
when they play, and now it's like when they play Manchester City. But they already performed well against Manchester City,
I think
at the
Arsenal's
beginning of
problem
this year, even like.
wasn't actually playing against big teams. It was always the smaller teams they struggled.
Not no really, but yeah, I can say like last year it was a different case, but Arsenal always win against those teams. Like Arsenal used to have a big problems with like big four, big five, or stuff like that, when Arsene Wenger was there.
Hmm.
Now it's a completely different team. And last time, I guess like it was the problem you have mentioned already, like the game management was not there actually.
Hmm.
This player they have, uh, like Partey was not there. Especially Partey is the one of the most key players. I would say like he's on probably irreplaceable right now. They had a bad cup run. They lost against Brighton last week, and the other goalkeeper was there. He was not even in the, how can I say, same, how can I say, same paper with Ramsdale. So this
Hmm.
two position is like is one of the
Irreplaceable.
irreplaceable
Hmm.
position. So other than that, like this team can shuffle and try to get some gritty win, and this actually built up the character of this team.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And most of the young players being injected performed well. Um, but but Arsenal, I mean, looking so far so good. There's definitely hope, as well as Arteta also basically accepting the fact that they're doing well and they will be going there. But uh, except Arsenal, I mean, Manchester City is arguably their only real contender at this point.
Look, last press conference, Pep Guardiola was asked like if Arsenal or other teams are like real. This is the question he's been asked
Hmm.
for like
Hmm.
last few weeks. So like he put out a statistics like that. This is their best start if you consider first 13 games. This is
Manchester
Man
City.
City's, yeah, Manchester City's best start,
Okay.
but they are not still even in the top because another team actually like outperformed them,
Yep.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that actually says everything, like
No, no, no.
how.
How good Arsenal been? Well, you definitely are saying that, but uh, to be honest, at this point, I mean, it could all change after World Cup. I mean, who knows? But
Yeah, yeah, of
at
course.
at this point,
But so it does for other teams as well, you know.
yeah, but
But
yeah, not
Manchester
not
City
not
will
maybe
have like more
as
World Cup playing like
yeah
players, like
starters.
those players will play, yeah, 90 minutes more than
Yeah, yeah,
Arsenal. So
yeah.
like when pundits say that these sort of things, uh, like about Arsenal and Manchester City,
Hmm.
other than like Erling Haaland, like all those other players will like whoever in their national team squad, they will play for
Significant
90
amount.
minutes for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So and Portuguese, like there were like three Portuguese players, and Portugal could be one of those finalists,
Could be.
or
Yeah,
semi-finalists.
yeah.
Yeah,
They're one of the
they
favorites, definitely.
yeah, they're one of the favorites. So there are like three, four players there. England team have like three, four players from
City.
City,
Yeah.
yeah, as well. So like those players who is going to play, and there were some certain um, well, it's in a way it's sort of a good thing. Like Gabriel is not going for Brazil, so
Yeah, 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 yeah.
unfortunate for him.
I understand. You're really excited as an Arsenal fan. Uh, uh,
Not, no, not like what I'm trying to say. Like this thing is like when like there are more chance like other teams to be sleeped than Arsenal if you
yeah,
consider the World Cup.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is what I'm trying.
I didn't actually see, what team has the most starters
Yeah,
for the national team, but I'm assuming, obviously, Manchester City is one of the top teams that
yeah, of
that would
course.
that would have
Like
more players. So
City, Liverpool, those players, they are going
Liverpool
to
too.
start.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. Although I'll come back to that. But
yeah.
at this point, City looking very bright. Also, I mean, they've been really good, except here and there, one or two performances. Anything new to say about them? Like they're actually good, other than even Erling Haaland. I mean,
Well, I can say something about like Julian Alvarez. He scored a brilliant goal. Like
he he
before
scored almost in all games
two
that
goals
he's
actually.
yeah
Yeah, yeah. When he was starting, I guess like except for Dortmund match or some other games, like two games probably. Like he was scoring in every goal games. Like when he was starting.
yeah very different
Um,
kind of striker than
yeah,
Haaland.
he sort of like reminds me a little bit like of Suarez from PSV, like Luis Suarez when he was playing for PSV.
PSV
Uh,
or Ajax?
he was Ajax or PSV?
He is an Ajax player. Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. Sorry.
There could be riots
Yeah,
of PSV
yeah,
and
I
Ajax
know.
fans. Um,
Well, expense will be like,
yeah, we'll
well,
we'll
I'm not talking about
like
it.
more about Arsenal. Let's
Yeah,
let's get back.
but what I'm trying to say, like,
Mhm.
he reminds me of this early Suarez, like a little bit like that actually. Um, Everyone, obviously he's from Argentina. Everyone was talking about like Aguero, but Aguero is a completely different player at the time of his career than he is. Um, a little bit like more like Suarez, but uh, w- what brilliant about this guy is that like he can
He can play any
connect with,
position. Yeah.
yeah, and he understands the idea of space,
Yes.
um like he switched. I saw like one clever switch between like him and Foden once, and like him and De Bruyne once.
Mhm.
It was unbelievably like clever,
Hi-
and
His
he
movement
actually,
to the pockets have been
yeah,
brilliant. I'm seeing it, and if anyone watching football and how the striker should move, please watch him.
yeah, of course. It's not only striker, like he can play any one of these
Anywhere,
three
any attacking
position, or
positions.
like
Yeah.
attacking midfielder, in he can actually pull out that actually as well. But they had a gritty win against which was, Fulham. Actually, it was a last-minute penalty, and Erling Haaland took it. And
Yeah, and he said he was nervous.
yeah, so it's like there you go. This guy is human,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. Uh, but
But the one, have you seen that one he scored from offside position? Like De Bruyne passed him,
yeah,
like crossed him, and it
exactly.
was unbelievable.
Yeah,
Like if it is, I kind of like knew that like it will be offside because of his hand. His hand is big, and he was like doing this,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
so his
yeah.
hand was ultimately in the offside position. But if it is a goal, or like this connection between him and De Bruyne already made like 9 assists in the league already. It's not even halfway. Um, so there is a possibility of like Thierry Henry's record. It could be broken.
I
He
think,
already touched it actually,
yeah,
like
exactly.
once, 20. But like what they are into, like I'm not sure. Like I did not want to praise them last time because what else I can say.
Hmm,
Like
hmm,
everyone is saying
hmm.
so many things, but I can say
But
only one thing.
at
Like,
some point, it feels like overstating too. But at some point, it says, okay, totally deserves
no,
it.
it's not overstating actually. Like how they're playing, that sometimes they're not even in the game, like but they are still managed to win.
Hmm, hmm.
They put some player like pass, or one or two players actually like pass from like make a deep pass, long pass from the deep, and Haaland is scoring, or someone else is scoring, or
Hmm.
like Thiago Silva made some moves. And what interesting is that like how Jack Grealish played in the League Cup game.
Yeah,
It was one of his best match actually. And people who actually was saying, like, I was actually like arguing against that actually, like how Grealish is actually one of those important cornerstone of this team right now, in a way.
yeah. No,
uh,
I hear you because that's why they have.
Especially defensively,
Yeah,
like Cancelo played this deeper role, and he had a tendency to get into the mid position, and Grealish most of the time stays wide, or sometimes a little bit deeper. So like teams attack, they tends to attack from the that right side actually. So Grealish actually goes back, and he sometimes actually, like in the counter attack, he holds the ball and gets some fouls, which is also important. And if you remember that game against United, first foul on him, Dalot was dead, and he was booked already in the 2 minutes or 3 minutes of the game. So that is one of the technical team. Like if your wing back or full back is booked in the first 30 minutes, it's not a game
Yeah,
you want to play, you know.
yeah, yeah.
Like even with five substitutions, how many players have like that same quality rotation players in the bench?
Fair enough. Um, anything, any more interesting games that we wanna talk
So
about?
many actually. Leeds versus Bournemouth was a mouth-watering game.
Exactly. It was fantastic game actually. Yeah, no, it was bonkers. Um,
And that's my point. Before uh, Leeds actually won probably two of the three last games, like
yeah,
probably
coming from back behind,
coming
I
from
guess.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But before that, they had a bad run. But the teams they played against, they actually sort of like, for example, Arsenal. They got away with a gritty win in the really hard situations, and Leeds had all like probably Leeds are the first team in that league that actually challenged Arsenal in a full 45 minutes, you know, and people undervalued Jesse Marsh because of his tactics and stuff like that, and um, I actually backed this guy probably like few weeks before,
Hmm.
and I want to back him now actually, uh, because like see he found a team uh who actually who does like this team doesn't actually follow any sort of like they did not follow any sort of like how can I say structure or anything.
Hmm.
It was sort of a mess,
Very,
and
very
he
fluid.
put this,
Yeah.
yeah, very fluid or very mess, you know, like
I don't.
what Bielsa team is
Yeah.
actually like.
Exactly.
Nobody can manage a Bielsa team except Bielsa, you know, like.
Maybe some Pauli too.
No, not even Sampoli. Sampoli has a structure. Like he creates structures, but Bielsa doesn't have structure. Bielsa never had, never will be,
No, it's all
probably.
about
And
movement. Yeah.
it's all about movement and like relative position of the players
Hmm.
that you have.
Hmm.
So, like if I remember like just remember like this Peckerman when he took over Argentina team. There were like this time like 2003 2004. They were not even like it looked like Argentina. They were like sitting deep a little bit. Uh, because he wanted to impose some sort of structure of that
Hmm.
team,
Hmm.
because Bielsa did not have any sort of structure, and players did not know where to go when they are confused sometimes. So like putting those players in a structure and bring like now if they stay up in the league, they can
Hmm.
actually bring new players, and there were some losses like Kelvin Phillips he's already lost to City, and Rafinha to Barcelona, and uh, but those position hasn't been filled with a good replacement. So
True.
that is also a problem. But what he got with this limited spending and limited resources, it's brilliant. And this team, even they lost some games, I could actually see them like they were actually there. They were actually they did not have any results at the time, but now they are getting the results. So I'm happy for him like right now.
Yeah. No, it was bonkers. If anybody has seen the game, it's really bonkers. I know. Bournemouth came back from 1-0 down to 3-2 up, and
Yeah.
then everybody thought this is the end, but there was not much time left, and Leeds came back with three goals, so it was 4-3. It was, but Bournemouth also looking very good as well. I mean, they've kind of somehow turned it around from the abysmal start of the season.
Yeah, they had a big run up until they faced Arsenal. They were undefeated for like six,
Yeah,
7, 8 matches
yeah.
actually.
They're
So
they're building something, and that's some very giant players out there. I mean, very, very tall players out there.
yeah,
Um,
Senesi is in form, but I guess he's not that fit actually.
no, he's fit. He's been
Oh,
two
okay. Yeah,
two
because he was
two
taken off actually.
2 or 3 months most valuable player for Bournemouth. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
just coming back to Premier League other games. I mean, obviously, we do you want to touch any other games that was as exciting?
Uh, uh, I wouldn't say it was exciting, but Crystal
Aston,
Palace versus
yeah, go ahead.
oh no, I was going to say it after that actually,
Yeah,
but West Ham versus Palace, it was an interesting fixture. As you know, like I am a huge fan of both of the coaches actually, and what they're like trying to get. West Ham is underperforming for some reason. I guess like we will go into that. Yeah, I will go into that. I want to go into that actually after the World Cup probably.
okay.
But they're so far underperforming. Declan Rice is brilliant so far, but like it's not. They have players, but for some reason it's not clicking out. But Crystal Palace is as well underperforming. They got a good result finally against West Ham, like who is supposed to be their like direct rival, in a way. And then it was a last minute goal, like from Mike and Ollie's.
Hmm.
Uh, a brilliant goal actually. But what Zaha is playing so far this season is a little bit one of those standout players from Premier League actually. But as I mentioned, the team is not performing that much, so he's not that actually in the talk right now.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And also, I tried to talk about Unai Emery bidding Manchester United in the league. I mean, up until then, United had a very fairly good run, and then obviously Emery came and that was first game probably for him for Villa, and they
Yeah, but um, Aston Villa have a good game before he joined actually. If you remember, like the week before, there was a 4-1 or 4-0 win against someone.
okay, but
Just after Steven Gerrard left.
oh right. No, they had a good game. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like when he was he I was actually like I watched that game actually for 45 minutes, first 45 minutes, and it was done already. Like I Yeah, after 45 minutes it was like 2-1, and then like when I come back from shower it's like 3-1. Then I did not feel because it was like it is always hard to score against Unai Emery team for some reason, um, especially last few years. But what I was interested most, like which what is going to be their formation. It's more like a 4-4-2, uh, but sometimes it's like a 4-4-2 diamond because of Buendia was playing as a sometimes as a wing, sometimes he's going in the wings, and sometimes he's like picking up the ball in the middle.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's sort of a mystery. And there were some forward runs from Ramsey, and there were some interchanges between like Ramsey Bailey and Buendia Watkins, Buendia Bailey sometimes. So those interchanges, like if you remember this Villarreal game against whoever they played in the quarterfinal, I remember, I don't remember.
Juventus.
Juventus, so yeah, that game is sort of like that sort of technique. There were some forward runs from the midfielders in the deep, which actually changed the game. And United actually, well, they started with Ronaldo because they don't have any other options because of injury and other thing. Um, uh, and yeah, they they brought in Martial, but I don't think Martial is like that much fit anymore.
I think
So does
they might find a good replacement for the future, but not going to talk about in this particular game. Uh, but there was United. I think somehow didn't expect Bailey to be in the middle of the park, and that one extra man in the middle of the park made their
yeah
Midfield very very uncomfortable, and also the defensive line too.
Yeah, they picked the ball between the lines. What I'm saying, like Watkins, Bailey, and there were some interchanges between those players. Um, and Watkins, so far, even though yeah, Steven Gerrard did not actually play him always, sometimes, but he was one of the standout players right now from the team actually. Even when Stevie G was there.
Well, just to give you a bit of thought, Steven Gerrard always used Bailey on the flank or on the corner. Never really used him, and he looked to be thriving in the middle, more kind of interior role. Um, but anyway, was a good win from Villa. I mean, they looked to,
United actually missed Bruno Fernandes, and what it says that like um, I saw what's his name, Ericsson making some forward passes from the left corner of the pitch and to the other side, but nobody was receiving actually those sort of pass. And Ronaldo is so much into his head right now because of all the speculation and everything going
yeah,
on
the
outside of the
pressing
field.
wasn't up to the standard too.
But yeah, like he like what you said few weeks ago, like he sort of lost sometimes, like um and sometimes like he accepted that, like when he accepted that, like he made a big assist in the Europa League with Garnacho. When he does that, like when he accept the fact and drops deep and try to pick up the balls, and his his passing is not that exceptional, but he can make some good, like one-to-one passes, and that can actually opens up some different positions, especially when players are tracking back, especially center backs are tracking down with him. So it actually creates space for others. So yeah, he if he thinks about the games and sometimes, but what I'm saying, like he's not even in the like the right mind so far, um, and which is actually hard to see from a player of his capability, but
Um,
it's fact,
it,
fact
it
is fact.
yeah, it all depends on how he accepts, and he contributes as a difference maker in a team. But coming back to
Yeah,
that,
he still can actually. He's still a good runner, but he's not a. He never was
Guru,
like a presser or something like that. Like we can press the ball
no,
and press out the defenders. But like it's all about acceptance, like you cannot be what you are not in 37 years of age.
oh, okay, we know. Uh, let's not go into that rabbit hole. But coming back to there's another game, obviously League Cup game. I'm just covering it all around of Villa and Aston Villa and Man United, and obviously we talked about Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes made a huge contribution for that game, for Man United to win.
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, like he was not even in the weekend game because of the suspension, but that actually changed. Like you can see the difference, like
Yeah,
the sport too.
yeah, and
So
also just
yeah,
a huge shout out to Alejandro Garnacho. He looks to be what Manchester United thought Jordan Sancho would be.
yeah. True. I've been actually hoping for it, and recently I got some. How can I say, like an I saw some what is interviews, and now why he's making it now, not the earlier of the season. So there was this explanation, like he was sort of like a little bit rule breaker. So what Eric Ten Hag did not like,
17, yeah, 18. So yeah, makes sense.
yeah. So so Ten Hag did not like that, and there was this like what does it call? There were talks from the senior players like a
Hmm.
few weeks back, and then he started training like well and put his head into the game, and which actually Ten Hag wants from his player, like
Hmm. Hmm.
always thinking in the games, not just reacting. So now he's thinking a little bit, and but you can see a bright future there, but it's still, work in progress. But
No, definitely. He
he's
is
he's
it
he's
too
still
young?
better. Yeah, he's still better than what who is mentioned,
Sancho.
Sancho. Yeah,
But yeah, I think I absolutely like his directness and the ability to pass. I mean, the speed is there.
yeah.
The ability is there. He has actually very good ball control to be in that speed. So yeah,
He reminds me of Ansu Fati when he was
it's
coming.
actually reminds me of Cristiano Ronaldo when he was younger. So it's more of an Argentine Cristiano Ronaldo.
Well, they have similarities, and it seems like Ronaldo seems to love him
Yeah,
in the
because
pitch.
yeah, oh, why not? Yeah,
Um,
sure. Similar profile player.
Similar profile. I haven't seen actually Ronaldo like caring about any like young lad that much so far.
That means he's having something of as of the pitch as well, like the good conversation, idolizing and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, that about Manchester
But
United.
Cristiano was not actually that much direct. Cristiano was more like a flaring winger at the but well that
No,
time
no, no,
football
no, no.
was different
Cristiano was
actually.
direct. The first and second season he came in, he was really explosive and fairly. I mean, obviously, he had a very good shooting range range, and he would come inward. But there are times he would take on and just go past defenders. At least first year or two.
Most of the time I like what I remember so far, like he was more in like uh, taking on everyone, and showing like what he is.
Yeah, yeah. He
But
was he was
Sancho is a
showboating.
little bit direct,
Yeah,
but he
he's
doesn't
he's
have this Ronaldo's capability. Like if you compare that,
not yet.
not yet, not yet,
No, no,
but
I'm
there.
just, I'm just, it's just reminder. It's a glimpse of that.
Yeah.
A young lad running in Manchester United wing, obviously, will definitely be compared to Cristiano. Um, so, moving out of Manchester United, anything else?
Actually, I want to add something about United. They can actually have a good cup run because City and Liverpool will be played against each other
Mm-hmm,
like 2 days after the World Cup in the
mm-hmm,
cup.
mm-hmm,
So there is a chance that like three of the yeah Tottenham is out.
mm-hmm.
Three London teams are out actually. Tottenham, Arsenal, and Chelsea are out of the tournament. And already like only big teams are like Liverpool, United,
City.
and City. Yeah, one of them will be gone. So Liverpool and like in between Liverpool and City. So like there is a chance they have a good cup run unless Newcastle they like unless they face Newcastle. So
Fair enough. Do you want to talk about anything, any other games in the English Premier League?
there was an important game.
Mm-hmm.
It should have been more important, but for some reason, it was everyone was watching that game carefully. Tottenham versus Liverpool, um, and for the first time, Liverpool played well in the first 45 minutes. Um,
Not first time probably, but probably in the league. Yeah, that's true.
n- I'm not counting Bournemouth game,
Yeah,
but
okay.
like consistently played throughout the whole first half. Like it was probably the first time because they controlled the game in the first half. But Tottenham, probably there was some team talk from Conte. They tried to come back. Um, uh, and they scored a goal, but it was not actually enough. And with Tottenham, they faced like top six or like top six contenders so far. They lost all of these games. So and Liverpool seems to still have this edge. Like still have they already have beaten City. There were some interesting results against Arsenal, and then now they beat Tottenham.
Hmm.
So they're trying to come back, but I'm not sure about this consistency they have
Yeah,
right now.
yeah, they're on and off, on and
In the
off,
league.
on and off.
Yeah,
Um, and
So, but
also,
it was an
also it's
interesting game
weird
to
about
watch actually.
Tottenham too.
What do you mean?
They're kind of going down in terms of productivity and form.
Well, I can see what you are saying, but the last few
I
games,
can all
opponent,
I can all right now I can smell some burning inside on that camp.
yeah, kind of we kind of discussed that actually
Yeah,
few weeks
we did. Yeah.
because of the midfielders, the quality of midfielders, and what they need. Number 10 from the deep, um, it's it's sort of absent. So we can see that actually coming, And compared to other teams like Newcastle, they up their game. Brighton, they up their game. Sorry, not yeah, yeah, Brighton. And who else? Uh, their immediate uh, contender last season, Arsenal, they up their game. So compared to them, they're actually a little bit. Um, but when we discussed about I still remember um, the transfer window.
Hmm.
It was actually so far went well for them, but the players are not available. So
Okay.
and they actually really need a number 10 because all the creativity is
Yeah,
coming from.
Conte doesn't have a number 10. Never
Yeah,
had.
but they need some deep lying eight who can actually pass forwards like true
Uh,
passes.
yeah, they thought
They don't have that actually.
Benton sure, no, not doing enough.
No, not this season.
Um, anything else from English Premier League?
No.
Uh, as we were speaking, we should just move on to Serie A. So there's been lot of games been played in span of a week or 2 weeks. Current
Actually, another game has already started. Empoli versus Cremonese.
Cremonese, yeah,
Yeah, it's Empoli is leading now, but it's like three. Yeah, 3 games in 2 weeks.
yeah,
Straight from the
exactly. Exactly. A little bit of change on the table, especially Napoli hasn't changed much. They're still leading. Lazio is on second, and then followed
They had
by
a good run actually
yeah, Lazio
last
did.
2 weeks. Yeah,
Especially the Rome Derby, they've won it.
yeah, of course.
Uh, and I think the last time they've won against Monza, I think 17-year-old Luca Romero scored his first Serie A goal for Lazio.
Yeah.
Um, Another Argentine coming out and promising definitely Lazio.
He
Uh,
was in the under 18 World Cup, I guess.
right, he was
I'm not sure actually. Under 18 or under.
no, not World Cup.
I forgot actually.
It was something else. Can't remember what was it.
There
Uh,
was a World Cup last year, right? If I'm not mistaken, or is it going to be next year? I forgot actually.
yeah, again I can't remember at this point. But Milan dropped some points definitely. Juventus made a huge victory against Inter Milan that brought them back into top four, and they won against who was it? Verona.
Yeah,
And Inter losing that game, but coming back 6-1 against Bologna.
Polonia.
Inter has an interesting game against Atalanta. Atalanta just dropped off from second to sixth. Um,
And they played really well against Napoli. Well, it's sort of like historical, whenever they're playing against
Bigger
Napoli,
teams.
and
Hmm.
yeah, but they could have actually win by through 3-2 or 4-2 even. There were some clear chances, but those half chances were not taken. Also, like uh, Napoli, like how Victor Osimhen is playing, it's unbelievable. He's a beast.
He's a beast.
Is He made goals out of nothing. Like nowhere. He's like pressing defenders, and it's like really hard to. He's like playing in a different level. Like he's in another planet. You know, like the goal against the match against Empoli. It was a really gritty one. They were actually they could not even break in, uh, and he actually got the penalty out of nowhere by pressing a defender. Um, and they scored actually, and then they scored another one, and then yeah, that's it. They're still in the top. And what I'm trying to say, like probably the best match of this whole week is um,
Napoli versus
Atlanta
Atalanta.
versus yeah. It was unbelievable game so far. I haven't seen so far like this. Well,
It was very
there were a few games
tactical,
actually.
very tactical, very
Technical.
technical.
It also like it felt like watching a Premier League game or like a Scottish League game. It was end to end.
Yeah, it was. It was really pacey. Yeah,
Yeah.
both teams running.
But Napoli, for some reason, when Atlanta scored, I expected to score them like at least two, three more goals. But for some for some reason, they could not actually manage to that actually. And whenever Napoli come back, they come back like really strong. You
Hmm.
know, like
Hmm.
it's hard to stop them, especially when they have like a momentum in the game. They actually make like something out of it always, almost always. And they have players like all in form. Whoever playing,
Hmm.
Raspadori especially is like a standout player. I guess Zelensky scored one, or it was the
He
next
did.
game.
Uh,
Actually, I actually mixed up all those
yeah,
games
it's because of
together.
a lot of games going on, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. But what I'm trying to say, like whoever playing, like now, what's his name? Kravachkarila,
Varatskhelia.
Varachkala.
Hmm.
Sorry, but yeah, this guy is injured. Rashpador is playing in the left. The,
Ilmas actually scored that game
uh, yeah,
uh,
Ilmas. Oh,
versus
Ilmas
Atalanta.
actually like, yeah, Ilmas. Um, Well, I did not actually see them see that coming here. How he played so far, I thought like his sort of would be sort of like a squad player, but he played like a like he's playing with them for like years or stuff like that, and sometimes crossed from the right side of the pitch, sometimes causing problems in between, like putting himself in between the defenders and making the wing backs like or fullbacks run past the wing back and create all sort of spaces. And it's they know like where to go, when to
Hmm.
go.
Hmm.
And whenever they get momentum, it's hard to stop them actually, like in the especially in the game. So I hope like one of those cups, they one or two of them, they can win uh, easily.
Well, the way it's looking like and the squad depth they have,
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if they don't win anything. I'd be surprised really.
And we were actually skeptical about Napoli before start of the season, because like they have this sort of runs before,
Yeah,
but this time I guess it's different because of the age,
depth.
especially the
Hmm.
age and depth of the players. They had depth actually before as well, but like they had Insigne and other older players, but now they have like actually like Higuain or stuff like they have like now, how can I say, like genuine young players who can actually run and press. And what Oshime I mentioned, like they press the defenders and like take out the balls, and getting the balls in the final third. It's like one of the part of the more modern game right now. Um, and they're getting it a lot. So like they did not have to run that much actually. So it causes them actually. If you remember, like in our last time when we were last year's actually last seasons, by this time in December, not this time, in December we were talking about Napoli's run in the city in Syria. They had a good run at the time as well. But what I mentioned that like at the time, I still remember that like they were actually carrying the ball
Yeah,
more
yeah.
than they were actually passing through. Like there weren't any sort of long passes, and players are seem to carrying the ball, so like it causes them more. make more runs, and which actually
It's not as
was
fast as
fatal.
if, yeah, not as fast as if you pass the ball.
Not yeah, but um, not not necessarily, but what I'm trying to say, like they when they're carrying the ball, they're making more like runs, and they have to come back again,
No, no, no.
and they're defending in different paces now.
That one
So
2 seconds makes a difference, though.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, exactly. And now they are getting the ball in the final third more, so they did not have to run that far. So players are making little less run. So like there are the tendency to get less
yeah,
injury. So like if you remember last in December they had like 4 or 5 players, like first team players were injured at this time, and from January to February, I guess, like they had a horrible run, and that actually, but they still came back, but up until like 37th game,
hmm, hmm,
but they could not actually make it through because of this thing. Um and now they have actually this, except for this guy, and they don't have any serious injury, I guess, so far.
yeah, yeah. Again, it's and again, it's not about just Napoli, but coming back to that, I just want to highlight Juventus Inter game because Juventus all of a sudden have flurry of players available.
Uh, this is what I said. They have a very big bench, but they never used it. There are always players, like some, I don't know, like for some reason some Allegri players there,
No,
they
no,
were always there.
yeah, I get that, but a lot of returning from injury. Like all of a sudden,
Yeah,
Di Maria, Chiesa, um, you have who else? Paredes is back. So yeah, the team looks way better right now than,
yeah.
and
Actually,
obviously
they
some
are.
of the other players like Figoli has stepped up. Miretti has stepped up. Um,
Rabiot is playing well. He made
Rabiot
it
is
to
playing
the,
well. Yeah,
yeah, he
yeah.
made it to the French national team, and
Well,
I get that, like they Rabiot actually in a sense important because he's one of, like he's probably the only left-footed players in the team,
yeah.
um, both in the national and the international level. So also how Kostic is playing, unbelievable. He had this last, especially last week,
Last
in
couple
both of the
weeks,
games.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
been very good.
he yeah he made those runs, and it's when he starts running, it's hard to stop him, like really hard to like. There is no way you can stop him other than you can foul him.
Yeah, yeah, and also I'd like to mention
Rabiot is also
Bremer.
doing well.
Bremer,
Yeah,
is
Bremer.
is doing well. In center back, there's a little bit of solidity at this point.
Mm.
Um, I think Bremer got called up in Brazil national team too. So, uh, good for him.
I haven't seen actually.
Yeah, he was called over Arsenal's Gabriel. Uh, so
He's
um,
left-footed, right?
he's
They need one actually. I was
no, no,
surprised.
no. Sorry, not
Okay,
he's
we'll discuss that.
he's not left-footed. But yeah, coming back to that, he
Oh,
had a
okay.
good couple games. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, Juventus all of a sudden look back on top four. But yeah, there will
But
be
what I have seen in that game, especially with Inter Milan,
yeah,
Inter Milan could have like up by 2 3 goals in the
yeah,
first half.
yeah.
Like uh, this is what happening with Inter. For some reason, when they miss like half chances or like really clear chances, they got like really frustrated for some reason. Not like they become a little bit, like a
Scared team.
atmosphere or
Yeah,
interesting or
yeah.
something like that, but they become like a little bit frustrated, and like other teams actually pick them apart when they are frustrated, like that is exactly what happens. Like before that goal, Juventus only created a half chance, the whole, like, but they scored, and uh, then Inter become more frustrated and then score again. So um I don't understand for some reason. they the Inter actually should have actually
Yeah, they could have.
especially that chance with Dumfries. It should have been actually in. There was also like chances with Lautaro Martinez. He directly shoot towards
Should
the goalkeeper.
keeper. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Uh,
any other day it will be in. So,
yeah,
like when they get frustrated, then actually,
it's
uh,
tough. Yeah, it
yeah.
is. But the other memorable, sorry, the other notable one is Roma. Roma is not really doing that great.
The Roman derby actually won by Lazio. It's,
Yes.
it's sort of strange, but Lazio is having a really good run so far. And another thing is that like Sari is already Serie A winning uh,
Coach.
coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows how to use, especially like Lazio doesn't have that much resources as we mentioned, like even not even like AC Milan as, but what they have like right now is it seems like really hard to score against them for some
It
reason.
is. It is.
Defense is not like that extraordinary for some reason. It's
They're very good on
no
possession
any other teams,
and
yeah.
structured.
And also, yeah, also like, but for some reason they're not that actually defensively that much
Strong.
impressive
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
yeah. But for some reason I don't see other teams finding spaces, and they have this like that second line of the
Yeah.
defense is like they're really clever.
And
They
just to mention
people
that
cannot actually
Chiro,
shoot from this like from front of the goal,
right, right. No, they're not
so
giving
you have to
space.
score from the angles, like,
Yeah,
so it's tough.
totally. And also Roma is out of
Yeah,
depth, I would say.
Zaniolo, I don't know, like he was one of the players I am tracking right now in the Italian league, but for some reason he's not like
No,
he's not even like uh, in the top 50 players in the Serie A right now.
yeah, I would agree with that. And also the one impressive thing about Sarri is that his main talisman, Ciro Immobile, is injured. Um,
Yeah,
he normally doesn't get injured that much for last 6 7
but
seasons.
Zapata is scoring.
Is it?
Zapata,
No, no, no. It's
I think
Brazilian Louis Felipe
Anderson.
Luis or Felipe Anderson, and also Pedro showing some. I mean, at this age, the way he's pressing, I think Barcelona definitely need him back. Just to show how to press.
Yeah, but another winger, Zaka, Zakagni,
Yeah,
Zak, or Zakalini, Zakagni. Yeah, Zakagni is like uh, doing like he's also not that far like at the top player, but he's also impressive in some certain ways.
And
And
also
another thing is that,
you have to mention about Milinkovic Savic. He's been
yeah,
absolutely brilliant.
of course, Savic is always there, but uh, it's unfortunate for Roma how they conceded that goal actually. Yeah, and that was the divider for this both of the team.
Yeah, yeah.
And Roma could have been actually in the top, not in the top,
Top four probably or close to that.
yeah, top four. No, they have the same points, except the goal difference actually differed them. When then, like last game, they draw against probably some team. I forgot actually. Um,
Roma
uh,
Sassuolo.
Sassuolo, yeah, Sassuolo. They drew against Sassuolo, and then this game they lost. So they are probably a little bit behind. But they Roma and Lazio has same points before they start the game.
Yeah. The other impressive team for me was Lecce. Uh,
Yeah.
they had an interesting game against. I think they win it against Atalanta, if I'm
Let me
not
check.
mistaken.
Let me check. Let me check. Yeah, they won it against. Yeah, and both Federico actually scored, and it seems like I thought like they are the same player. Ex- but no, they played so far. They could have actually win it by like 3 or 4 goals.
Yeah,
There were some clear chances, and also like Atlanta created something, but for some reason they were not in the
Lookman was not.
playing head or something. Yeah.
Lookman was not probably fit. That's why. And also I've seen Malinowski for how long? After a long time, I've not seen him. But he was not in the form as well.
No, but what made my how can I say like day is that like a Maldini scored against Milan.
That's Paolo Maldini's
You,
son.
yeah, Daniel Maldini. You never seen this in your lifetime, and I bet you your father or grandfather hasn't seen it. Like not in the how many generations they have. Like Cesar
Well,
Maldini. Cesar Maldini's dad was also a like AC Milan player. So like it almost like never happened in probably in the Italian history.
fairly sure about that, but I have to like I don't have the stat.
I only know these 4 generation. I'm not sure about like Caesar's dad was playing in the uh, 30s or 40s. I forgot for Milan.
Again, I cannot
I'm not sure
remember.
about like when Italian league started, but I have never seen in my lifetime, or nobody ever seen that Maldini scored against AC Milan.
There is some Maldini on the score sheet, but not for Milan. Um, yeah, no, Daniel. I think is
No, I can understand that like Maldini can score like for other team, but against Milan, like it's you never seen them.
his parent club.
You can actually, yeah, yeah, true. But it was, and another funny thing happened in that match actually. Have you seen that 0 goal?
Yes, unbelievable.
Wow, probably the best goal in that week
In that
actually.
week, yeah, exactly. In
Yeah,
all over Europe. I mean, this guy's
yeah.
this guy's like I don't know. He was playing kung fu or something, kickboxing.
Well, he did that actually when he was playing with playing
Arsenal.
for Arsenal.
Yeah,
Yeah, but when he moved to Chelsea, for some reason, when any striker moves to Chelsea, except for Didier Drogba and
they're not
Samuel Eto'o,
they're not
they are
allowed
not in
to
the squad
score.
for some reason. I don't know. This, yeah, people call this like the curse of number 9 or something like this in Chelsea shirt. Now Aubameyang is wearing that shirt. Yeah,
Okay,
but on the serious note, and after that goal, he teared up his
and got red carded.
t-shirt and gets the second yellow and got red carded. And because of that,
he,
because of
he
that,
missed the next match.
next match and Milan actually drew against what is this team? Cremonese. Uh, Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all funny.
It's like
I thought it was quite funny. Like I don't remember how many players I've seen. I think I remember Balotelli doing it for Inter Milan
yeah.
when he was Jose Mourinho was a coach because he just scored and just took off his shirt and he got red carded. But I don't remember many of the players who have always been yellow carded. Normally doesn't take off the shirt and he did because he scored a cracker and
He
because of
teared up his t-shirt actually,
yeah, yeah,
and oh my god, it's like funny in so many different level.
yeah, exactly, and
Yeah,
that
he
cost
missed the next match and came on, and now they are actually sitting in third because of that
yeah,
draw.
yeah.
But
But there's 8 point gaps though from Napoli
yeah,
to the second place. I think Lazio.
yeah.
There's 8 point
And
gaps
if they win the next match, then they will go to the World Cup like without like they will finish the mid-season. And in Italian league so far, like whoever finished the mid-season
in
in
top
top, like
normally.
yeah, they normally they win. Mostly most of the time. Does it have any exception? I'm not sure actually. I
Yeah,
haven't seen. Okay,
there probably is an exception. Napoli itself was top
when
on
30 years ago.
no, couple or 3 years ago they were really. They're jointly top with Milan.
Oh, jointly doesn't count.
Okay. Uh, but yeah, that's about it from Serie A. Obviously, tomorrow I mean, there's game right now going on, Empoli versus Cremonese,
Yeah.
but that's
But
about.
there are also like some interesting games coming up in this weekend actually.
Yes,
Atlanta versus Inter, Roma versus Torino,
yeah, that would be interesting game. Um,
Milan versus Fiorentina, and Juventus versus Lazio. Wow, it's like
yeah,
what
yeah.
can I say? Spaghetti and bolognese sauce in your plate.
Delightfully put it in a very tasteful way. Um,
Yeah, it's my favorite food actually.
well,
So
we have to travel Bologna at some point. Uh,
I'm going actually to Milan.
uh, to meet you.
Yeah, of course. At least to get an autograph or something.
Yeah, I think he's traveling with French national team, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's going.
But yeah, that's about it from me. I mean, we definitely can wrap up all the leaks as Sunday just gets over, and then
Yeah.
obviously there is already a bit of excitement about Qatar World Cup.